Okay, hi. Um, for those of you who don't know, my name's Luke Hayes and I live in Brisbane, Australia. I've been working on this concept of aura of intelligence for the future of when um, our computing architecture is in light glasses like these. So, augmented reality, that is, or extended reality, XR for short. And so, I've been working on the concept of how to take the etheric idea of auras from, say, Vedic or Hindu philosophy or ancient Chinese relative to the ki or chi concept. Um, so that's like in Tai Chi or yoga for the Vedic side of things. And turning it into a graphical user interface that can harness the blockchain, so cryptocurrencies, big data, whether it be your work data sets or say you're wearing your Fitbit device, um, continuous blood glucose monitoring, having all of your health data in your aura and then organized onto a virtual avatar of yourself. So organizing and visualizing that, and then teaching people to apply artificial intelligence or machine learning algorithms to their own data and the data that they legally have access to, whether it be work or public government data, and then also using it as an interface for the Internet of Things. But the key point is in the most to do all of this and more in the most trustworthy, fun, and virtuous ways possible. So if we consider that already um, we've got 100 to 300 to $800 augmented reality glasses already that now are showing us. And the first example of this back in the day was Google Glass, and they also have a new enterprise Google Glass. They're about $1,000. Microsoft HoloLens 2 is about 3,500. This is US dollars. Um, and there's more and more of these display lenses that are getting more and more wearable, like lightweight, and they're being able to show more data. So the time for building an aura of intelligence is fast approaching, and I have been working on um, the aura of intelligence for quite a while, but as I'm not a proficient coder, it's been kind of more at the planning stages, and I see it as being a way that we can overcome our own personal biases, like the things that we are all trying to deal with in self improvement and lifelong learning. And so, this video, rather than going over too much of that, I'm going to show some of the steps that I've already taken to build towards aura of intelligence and um, also the target. Let's quickly go over the target market. So I think that there is a very good opportunity to uh, equal or eclipse apps like Pokemon Go and TikTok and Facebook with and also leading into the metaverse concept, having your aura as your own essentially your own game design platform that creates your environments with you in harmony with you. Um, there's hundreds of millions of people that practice yoga. There's like 40 million just in the US or something like that. It's a huge industry. I think a lot of people will be interested in having an aura. Um, Buddhism and Hinduism also have the idea of Kundalini and chakras, so they're quite aware of it. And if it's built in a way that ties in with modern society, then I can see there being a natural fit for product market fit. So um, I've been working on a wireframe, and we'll jump across to that now. Um, so we'll start at the beginning, and we'll put it on play. So let me just zoom in a bit. Um, so the aura of intelligence, this would be part of, so it will show step by step how you can actually go about building your aura, and then it'll show a progress bar. So you'll need to get quite a bit of data about yourself and about what you want to achieve with this aura. Um, and this will be your next main um, menu, or at least this is how I'm looking at it at the moment. Um, and then, so obviously, once the instructions are gone, you'll be able to toggle your camera view, just the green screen there, so you can see your camera. But then look at all your different data sets that you can put in. So you'll be able to, I envision being able to scrape your own data from your social media, or download and export all your social media data. Um, so connecting the APIs for your favorite softwares, or downloading the data and then analyzing the data, so uploading it and then running algorithms on it. Collecting lists of the values that you prefer, the virtues that you prefer, the emotions that you prefer, sensations, experiences, and then wider information like books you've read, music, TV, places you love. Those favorites lists will be extremely important for training the algorithm. And also, when we get across to the advertising, so if you're thinking about wearing glasses where it's overlaying computer information all around you, you need to be able to have a really, really good dial on how much information is allowed through and what type of information. So by associating colors and emotions and values and virtues with your aura and the different colors of it and how far away from your body, like the proximity, creating that meaningful architecture, be able to dial up and dial down into specific values, like core values, like responsible abundance, like joy, like friendship, or into more logical things like the monetary system. And when you've got your goals, you can dial into specific goals, and then you'll see information in, say, Google Maps or the equivalent, where it's got all the monetary system information. So advertising, location dependent advertising, specific to help you achieve certain goals. So rather than um, allowing these big corporations just to farm your data from your search engine, and like websites you go and wherever else they get it from your apps, you'll be able to keep all your data in your app, and then you'll have dials that you can make it much more specific how the advertising gets to you, and you'll have control of that. And there's probably even ways that we can monetize you getting paid for your data, rather than, as well as getting more accurate search results and limiting what comes through your visual field when you're wearing your computer on your eyes. So you'd be able to look at where you store your different types of memory. So whether it's in your cloud, local devices, different storage devices, show where you're storing different memory. If you're hiring cloud, or you've got a PC at home, or multiple devices, the Internet of Things. As you aggregate that data in different patterns, you'll then be able to run your algorithms over the top. So I foresee that leading to a point where our aura basically becomes like the synonym for like Pirates of the Caribbean, the magic compass. It takes you to whatever your heart truly desires. But there's also values layers and dials, so you can dial into not just what you truly want today, or I don't know how it'll completely evolve, but by keeping all your data and making patterns that you can regularly switch between and turn up the strength, and then large language models like ChatGPT and future models that come out, through conversational machine learning, you're going to be able to find your information, find what you want easier. Life will be more fluent and more enjoyable. So there'll be a section for building your avatars where you organize your health data, and also for characters in the metaverse. So you go over some baseline questions, like you set settings for your proximity of your aura. Where does your intimate space end? Where does your casual space begin and end? Where does your social space begin and end? Your public space or your long range observance. Um, so we need to get, if you want say an avatar for your health data, which has got to be as similar to you as possible, then there will be another set if you are doing imaginary characters for your role-playing games that are in specific uh, universes or worlds that are virtual, like we have already on Xbox and PlayStation and Steam and all these things. Um, so there'll be two different sets for that. You'll be able to go through processes for estimating your poses, face mapping, emotional expressions, natural language processing. We'll teach you how to organize your data sets, identify other similar data sets for your ideal characters, and then import them and overlay them onto your avatar. So you'll essentially will be building, your aura will facilitate your real world and digital society monetary system overlay, but it will also facilitate generating fictional worlds for your games, for novels, for films, for TV, and the all important mind palace. So a lot of people don't have the greatest memory, and development of the concept of a mind palace and associative memory can really help with that. So if you are building like a map of your home and office or map of public buildings, like a lot of uh, cities and ancient buildings and temples, especially temples, are created as associative memory palaces, and that's telling stories across time, which is a concept that we can adapt in augmented reality and virtual reality. There's a few startups doing that, but I think in the concept of an aura, the Mind Palace is the next one up. And it'll, by creating shared databases of, say, like real estate, like buildings, resorts, it'll also make it faster for us to be able to simulate the future development of civilization. Uh, Obviously, I'm talking about the exponential growth curve of like the hockey stick curve. This won't happen immediately, but it'll be down the line. Um, and on the short term, by having these copies of your home and office, um, or these spiritual type buildings and as mind palaces, you'll improve your memory like very quickly. But it'll also be great for second language training. You have your mind palace, you can just label all of the different things and then quickly have it all translated into other languages, and then simulate conversation in other languages so you can learn faster. And then the memory palace is so helping you to learn other languages for travel. You'll be able to plan your holidays and such, and then share these little narratives with other people. Uh, then there's also the process of turning it into your aura, taking all of this data that is just essentially lists of data, then creating interactive elements with those lists and moving them around and placing them in your aura for your visual aesthetics, as well as for training the higher order machine learning algorithms that get into the more complicated stuff. And it's like this, building an aura of this magnitude is not going to be one day thing. It'll grow with you over time as you accept new challenges, basically. So um, you have a finite map. Each aura at the moment, what I'm working on is a 12 by 24 matrix that then is folded into a horn torus. So this is where I will actually, I'll just show you into a horn torus on the inside where it's see-through here. So on the inside, when you're looking at it in VR or in the next app, I'll just show you an example in 3ds Max. The inside is so the inside here will be all of your privacy data, and that's because you're still working out what you want to be made public on the inside. So we're talking about your personal lists of your favorites, or ideas you're thinking about, like goals that you want to set but they're not yet public. You organize them in here, and then when you're ready to share them with the public, you then put them on the outside, so that say that block of the program will then be accessible to other applications in the public domain, or say if you're at university, other students or teachers, you can share it by putting it on the outside with specific permissions for the use and access of that. And then there will be 6 different toruses: Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And they will, when you start your aura, you will go through a pattern, and you'll start with a generic process. So relative to how long your arms are and the distance between your eyes, it'll start the red one just so that you can reach out and touch the red one at a comfortable distance. And then you'll customize your size and scale and preferences from there by going through questionnaires. And there'll also be patterns of like how to associate the colors with your preferred emotions and virtues. Some people who have been exposed to yoga will already have some kind of understanding on how they will associate that, so there'll be a pattern you can pre-select. But other people more have grown up in capitalism and are going to have more of a market-driven understanding on what emotions the color spectrum elicits from years of being exposed to like Coca-Cola and supermarkets. And so you'll be able to start with presets or customize from the beginning. And then as we go through, these patterns will be arranged. There'll also be different ways of connecting that information, which is more for the algorithms. And then I'll also show you the basic vector space that it starts in. Will be similar to this. I need to change the screen to this one. So what I'm, if it will open, oh, there it is. Oh, it's coming through now. Okay, so a vector space is essentially a set of lines that have a direction. So if I move into this field and then I click and I drag and I set the direction of those um, points, the visualization of the vector field then follows the line that I drew. And that's part of what makes machine learning um, possible. Like directional weights and biases, and this will be underlying the basic aura structure that I was showing you before. It might not mean much to many of you, but it's, yeah, quite important. And so that's, I didn't go over the timing and signals. That's another important part of the Aura app. If we go back, so putting your birthday reminders, different milestones, be able to categorize those and put them in with your health and well-being, your business, your learning journeys, countdown timers going up and back, scheduling reminders, different ceremonies for living your life depending on which culture you are part of and how you want to adapt and mix between cultures. Celestial cycles, long cycles, short cycles. So being able to, once you master organizing data, these things will be quite useful. And there's going to be a lot of brainstorming and community designed content around that. Uh, and yeah, for all these, you'll have an inside view of all the different Tauruses here, like I was showing on 3ds Max, but much more simplified. Very, very simple for a mobile phone. And hopefully you can start to see, like, you collect your data, you'll be able to geotag, you'll be able to plan stuff relative to solar system cycles. Um, Depends on how, if we're talking about raising human consciousness from like childhood through adulthood, the education system and parenting does most of that. But then when you become an adult, or if you lose your parents and you start early on your own journey for whatever some reason, be it fortunate or unfortunate, then this will give you a way of raising your consciousness and awareness through different cycles to whatever level you want to, at any rate that you want to. So um, another key organization that I've got, I won't get into the market yet, but I really want this to be developed as in Global Association for Joyful Responsible Abundance on Earth. And that's simply because I believe that artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence or extended intelligence is inevitable and it will happen very soon if it has not already happened now, but is not publicly. Um, well, if it is in existence now, it's hidden or it's hiding, and I don't think that military should have it. I don't think that corporate motives should be its parents. I think that a lot of people all around the world from all different cultures should all get together and define joyful, responsible abundance and then collaboratively create new data sets to train intelligent algorithms on. Because a lot of the data that is currently being used to train large language models is from Reddit and Twitter and Facebook and whatever other data set they can get their hands on. And a lot of the chat is bickering and not nice. It doesn't have a core value set. So a clean core value set of being in association for joyful, responsible abundance will be much better super intelligence than what would come out of arguing on Twitter or arguing in. So probably some data sets are of like US Congress or Australian Parliament, like Hansard, and there's a lot of arguing in there, and so we don't. I don't believe that there is a clean data set that we should be trying to train super intelligent algorithms on yet, and I believe that this is somewhere that we should be looking to start doing that. And then obviously the vision statement is, oh, not obviously, but the vision statement at the moment is to create a reliable and evolutionary data set of humane values, actions, and objectives that narrate us all towards joyful, responsible abundance on Earth. And I'd like to work with other people to achieve this by asking communities and individuals all around the world and organizations from every region, tribe, language, and culture on Earth to contribute their own definitions of joyful, responsible abundance. And I'd like to grow this even further through facilitating it in connection with the 40th anniversary of Live Aid to bring the world together through music and art in 2025. So scaling up to 2025, and then in the see where that gets us, reevaluate, and then 2035 would be the 50th anniversary. So trying to have a global artistic vote by 2035 about art and music and values and virtues, just to see if there is like a common thread throughout humanity. Because it seems that way from like traveling and meeting people that were a lot more alike than we are different. I would like to see like how far that extends, and hopefully that would lead to less conflict and more solving the big issues that no single nation can solve, that we need to all work together on, like climate and changing our power production and our food production and our distribution networks so that there's less waste, it's more efficient, it's more eco-sensitive, and we end poverty. We allow everyone to have the opportunity to have higher education, and hopefully we also get into the space industry, start settling other moons and planets, build autonomously built constructed cities, and then can travel around. Because one thing I've Also, another thing I also believe is that with advances in medical science, and soon we'll be having like a DNA tester in our own home, like your microbiome will be analyzed every day. You'll be able to, if you want to, stop aging essentially, because you'll have this. You're speeding up the feedback loop instead of having to going to the doctor when you're ill or once every year. We'll have preventative well-being, and if human beings can solve like mitochondrial issues and telomeres on the DNA and failure with the epigenetic system to replicate cells and DNA properly, we could live for 200, 300, or thousands of years. And how do we responsibly raise consciousness and awareness so that people can still have children on Earth and the older people can go traveling around the universe, or but we don't destroy the natural environment. We don't wipe ourselves off with war because we're all getting older. Like, let's explore through science fiction how to go further. But in the meantime, there's also an avenue for a marketplace within this, and like through the data collection that I was mentioning earlier, you'll be able to be more in control of how you access that information, how you spend your money, how you earn from allowing other people to use certain aspects of your data. And at the very initial point, I've got this concept of having a market or a cryptocurrency that is first targeted at health and well-being, but also um, a specific currency for all companies and businesses with Aura in their trading name. So currently there's tens of thousands of businesses around the world with Aura in their trading name. So there's like mainly is accommodation, creative industries, event management, health and well-being, and there's quite a lot of cities, developments, and high rises as well. So looking at those things, um, so there'll be a marketplace, a blockchain, and membership systems. So uh, so that all transactions on this blockchain will be public. Uh, Everyone will be showing how much money they've put into it, how much money they've got on the blockchain, and what their transactions are. So it's full transparency and know your customer. So people will be saying who they are. There'll be no pseudonyms or hiding who you are. This is for people that believe in joyful, responsible abundance, that believe in honesty, transparency, and um, you'll still be able to use the Aura if you don't want to be on the blockchain. But if you really want to show your support for it, you'll be transparently on the blockchain and um, participating in the decentralized organization of the network as it expands. So I see most likely it will start as centralized, then go to distributed, and then go to decentralized in a phased transition. Um, but we'll see. This is all pretty much just coming out of my brain and my heart and my gut at the moment. And until there's a team of people working on it, collaborating, it's just wireframes and PowerPoint presentations and business plans, and I've got some little things that like bring. Um, they summarize some of the strategic directions in Global Association for Joyful Responsible Abundance, Aura of Intelligence. And then there's also, I've mentioned in other videos about 500 Queens Venture Capital and trying to build our network towards responsibly increasing the amount of venture capital funding that goes to women-led startups, because they're at the moment getting less than 3% of all venture capital funding goes to women-led startups. So I think it's responsible to get that up to around 50-50. And yeah, because I live in Queensland, I like the idea of doing it in Queensland, 500 Queens over up until, let's say it's 20, it's, what's today, the 15th of December 2022. By 2032, we'll be having the Olympics here in Brisbane, in Queensland. If we have 500 female-led startups that have been incubated here in Queensland in over 10 years and are all addressing long-term civilization planning and joyful, responsible abundance within that, then yeah, we'll have made a huge contribution the to the world. And that's, yeah, so world leading ecosystems, world's biggest moonshots, world's most trustworthy AI, world's biggest box office hits, so a cinematic universe that ties science fiction in with the kind of emergent technologies of now, but also takes on existential threats like pandemics, like climate change, like solar flares. Um, Imagine science fiction when we're traveling out, putting up settlement throughout the solar system, perhaps coming into contact with alien races or humans having left Earth before that are on other planets and moons already in other cities, maybe. I don't know. Just come up with cool narratives that build a cinematic universe that also ties into games. Building subterranean cities on Earth just in case, like there's asteroids or a micronova comes from the sun, so the sun sheds off lots of part of its outer shell because too much dust has come into the local system. Um, there's lots of ideas, but cross-platform games that are focused on joyful, responsible abundance, gamification, cleaning the environment, responsible systems for managing distribution of everything, power, food, water, goods, and the 500 Queens Venture Capital will then, if we apply that to the G20, that's 10,000 Queens Venture Capital, so 500 in each of the G20, or 100 countries around the world, that would be 50,000 Queens. Live Aid 2025, 2035, Crystal City Corporation, Quandamooka Country. That's Quandamooka Country is like Moreton Bay and North Stradbroke Island and Moreton Island, or Minjerribah and I can never pronounce Morton's name, Murugompan something. I've theorized for a science fiction building a crystal megacity underneath the ocean. So kind of here, and then building a spaceport for SpaceX Starship to be landing and bringing people with then Hyperloop ultra fast trains into the Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, and Brisbane for the Olympics. And then like using that progress to then construct a subterranean megacity for 10 million people. But you're doing it in a simulation and in a movie kind of thing, working out the actual technologies that would be involved. And then entertainment studios, gamifying democracy. Um, that's another one of the startups uh, concepts that I've got. It got accepted into, I think it was Web Summit or of Intelligence and Gamify Democracy and Gadget Earth have all been accepted as into alpha programs at different worldwide like tech conferences, but due to my poor um, life skills, I have never built a team or even registered companies or got finance to be able to travel to get to these things or build the software out. I just kind of go along with it slowly myself. Um, but I have been making progress on occasion, and yeah, I really want to take the next step. I want to build a community, build a business. You can um, contact me here at Luke Hayes on LinkedIn or Luke Catalyst in the bar up here. And yeah, my contact details, I suppose, are on the bottom of this. And if you'd like to get in contact, please do so. I'm here in Kelvin Grove, just near QUT, and I'd like to go over. I wonder where that was. Just read a couple of poems I wrote a few years ago, just as kind of give you an idea about me. If I can find it. So, deeper meaning. A magnetic soul stream, the red thread of fate. It may stretch, it may bend, but it will never ever break. It connects us all in a web of mathematical probability. It's encoded in plain sight, if only you know how to see. Observe signals and sounds, then self-reflect while still. Your life is a puzzle that you assemble with free will. Your awareness is a dial which empowers your life. Seek deeper meaning. It's always there. It is rife. You are a unique personality, a perspective of all that is. This makes you a divine co-creator of life and all that is. In this complex fractal vortex of love, light, and choice, you are the black hole or white star of calm observation and voice. An eternal soul stream which formed its own story, acting out its experiences from beginning to infinity. Increasing your awareness is the key to fulfillment. Harmonize with your dreams. Act on your excitement. Through the great language of music, we communicate using patterns of sound and emotion we all can relate. Break free from the mundane and keep on dreaming. Choose love, choose infinity, and seek deeper meaning. So, I think I wrote this in like 2012, 2013, something like that. Um, and we will be heard. I am. I see. I hear. I breathe. I feel. I speak. I sing, and I know that you do too. In this one infinite reality, I know we will be heard. Believe in the best, give it your all, and love will manifest. We are right here, we are right now, alive. Step up, man up, or woman up. Sing your piece. Give your all, know who you are, make your mark. Embrace this moment, all that you are, all that you have been, and all that lies ahead. Because what you hold in your mind is exactly what you're getting. Shh. Listen close. You, you are, you are infinite. Believe it, become it, love it. We are right here, we are right now, alive and divine. We are all unique perspectives of all that is, traversing space and time at the speed of light, while the illusion of our senses say we lie still in the night. We are infinitely expansive electromagnetic complexity, co-creating our divine, infinite destiny. We are right here, we are right now, alive. Know who you are, make your mark, we will be heard. And that's kind of me playing around with VR after I just bought my computer from an early release of superannuation during COVID. um, and yeah, that's some of my poetry. Two of my favourites, to be sure. But if you would like to work together, join in, whether it be just as a like brainstorming, masterminding, community chat, or more at a functional coding business development, excuse me, level, um, or investment, or um, anything else that you're inspired to think about in positively helping this concept of building auras, building global association for joyful responsibility, responsible abundance, and want to do something. Like particularly here over the end of year celebrations, kind of 2022, 23, because I don't have a lot planned, and I'm pretty much broke because I've had a sore knee and I haven't worked for over a month. So I won't be traveling very far and I won't be spending a lot of money, but so I will have time to either be on the internet or meet up, do some meetups. But if you're interested, then here I am. Here's my contact details. Look me up on LinkedIn, and perhaps we can get the ball rolling. And yeah, I'm pretty much all out of words. So thanks for listening. If you've got any comments, leave them wherever you see this. I'll upload this on YouTube and maybe LinkedIn. And feel free to share, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And yeah, I'm Luke Hayes 360 and Aura of Intelligence on YouTube. And yeah, hopefully we'll find some other people to collaborate with, and that not only think it's a good idea, but also have some kind of technical knowledge or spiritual awareness or well-being or team facilitating or investment or business advice. This is not actually a company yet. Um, yeah, it's a hackathon kind of thing. Let's put an ICO, get a blockchain happening. Let's build the app. Let's build machine learning algorithms. Let's build functional Aura apps like for smartphones. And yeah, let's have fun doing it. Thanks.